If you look at self-improvement, if you look at religion, if you look at spiritual teaching, even psychology to a large degree, you'll see that there are a lot of people, there are some people that will go to it and it's like something snaps inside of them, they got it, and away they go. And others seem to just struggle with it. I believe that there's two reasons for this. One is that I know that when somebody meets that thing inside of themselves that they're here to do, they either embrace it all the way, it turns all the lights on inside of them, or it shuts them off and they run in the other direction. So those people we're not talking about, the ones that run away, okay? But then there's the other people that they're in the middle of it. They're trying to get somewhere, but they're doing something that's actually detrimental in their approach to what they're doing. When it comes to us changing various different, rather simple things in our life, we're used to touching a button and it changes, flipping a switch and it changes, turning something on, turning something off. It's an instant change, and it's a change that is profound because it's the law of polarity. The light is either on or it's off. It's not halfway. The refrigerator is either on or it's off. You either have water or you don't. Okay. So you go from one to the other. There's no middle, but people get stuck in the middle with mindset. And they get stuck in the middle because it's like there's a great war going on in their mind for which side is going to win. So it has to change at the very beginning of when you become conscious of the problem. Whatever the problem is, the next thing that you tell yourself determines the way that you create your way either deeper into the problem and struggle and sacrifice and hard times and all that, or you start creating your way out of that situation. In that scenario, that truth has to change immediately. The money is there. You have to stop thinking about money being there only if it's in your hand, because you don't think of air that way. You don't think of any other resource that way. You don't panic because you've run out of milk or you've run out of coffee or dishwashing detergent or laundry detergent or, whatever. You don't panic about that because you know where to go and get it. Every other resource that you need, use, or want, you don't panic about it. You just go get it. You need a new car, you just go get it. You need a bike, you just go get it. You need a house, an apartment, a place to stay, you just go get it. What is it about money that when something just suggests that you're going to need a little bit more than what's in the bank, that you panic? If you were having a dinner party and 3 extra people showed up and you said, we're short of this, that, or the other, would you not send somebody to the store to go pick it up? You wouldn't panic about it. You wouldn't think, do we have to form a committee to figure out how we're going to go get, some more beer or wine or, you would just go get it. In my awareness, you tell me if there's another area where you see this happen. Money's the only place that I ever see this happen. It shuts people down at the suggestion. What is the problem? The problem is that you don't know, you were never raised with the idea of where money actually is. Middle class people have no flipping idea where money is. They can't tell you. They can't tell you where it is. They can't tell you what it is. And they can't tell you how to get it. But they know all the negatives about it. They know they don't have it. They know that they want it. They know that other people have it and they're keeping it from them. And it's all based in lies. So when you have a reaction to the idea that you might not have enough money or where is it going to come from, you've instantly gone back into a middle class mindset. You've got to remember all the money that you need, you ever will need, you could possibly want, desire, is all here right now. It's in the hands of other people. And it's in the same place for the rich people. It's in the same place for everybody. It's in somebody else's hand. How do you go get it? Well, what is the skill to go get it? Sales. That's the skill. If you have to go to the grocery store, you walk, ride a bike, drive, or call an Uber. That's the skill. If you're going to fix yourself a meal at night, cooking is the skill. Everything that we do in life has a skill that most of us have mastered to some degree. We've mastered all those things. Why do we freak out around money? Because what you're learning about money is very new to you. I freaked out about it the same way when I was first introduced to these ideas. But it's a bizarre thing. And oh, here's the other thing. It's the number one thing you need to get everything else, by the way, right? All those other things that I mentioned, you can't get them without money, and they don't teach you that skill. So why would somebody panic? Because the very edge of life in which the resource that they need to get everything else, they have no control over, right? That's not true, but that's what they think they have no control over. Because the only way that they were taught to get money is the worst way to make money. And that is to go to work for somebody else, work hard and long, and every so often they send you a check. And let's face it, I don't care what the fuck that check is, it's barely enough to get what you want out of life. You're not going to live your dream on that check. Now, what you do with the check, you might live your dream on. You know, you make that check multiply, and many people do. That's the idea. But it's almost like a con game, because think about this. The entrepreneurs give the middle class the check, and as soon as they get the check, the entrepreneurs take it back again. Do they not? What do you do when you get a check? You pay your bills? And people that just get a little bit every week or every month, there's very little left over. Why? Because the entrepreneurs took it back again. But people are so intimidated by the idea that they can't even see the pattern. Wait a second. I go to work all day for a business owner. That business owner determines how much I make and when I get paid, and can take that away from me at any time that they want. Then, after working hard for a week or two, I get a piece of paper that resembles money, and I go to the bank and cash it, or it gets direct deposited in my account, and there's a number, it says how much I have. Within a few days of that number, it shrinks rapidly. Why? Because all these other business owners got a part of each piece of that money, and I'm left with barely anything. Oh, let me do this again, is what we're taught. Let me spend 30 or 40 years in this cycle. And then on top of it, let me give them so much negative information about business, about wealthy people, about money. Let me tie a little religion into there to make it really sticky, and they're fucked for life. They can't get out. Because every door that would let them out, in somewhere in their mind, they think is wrong. Wrong, or they can't do it. And you show me the error in my message anywhere. Poke holes in it, punch holes in it. I don't think you'll find any, because that's exactly the way that it is. That's the natural way that most people behave that work for somebody else, because they do not know how to get money. The only relationship they have is to go to work for it. And it's definitely not instant. You got to work for a while and then you get paid. But what if you need it today? What's your option then? Oh, we have to borrow it. But then we're told it's not okay to borrow money. It's not okay to take charity. It's not okay to go in debt. So what's your only freaking alternative? To sacrifice, to go through hard times, and then go back to work for somebody else. You see the craziness in this yet? And at various different levels of people's poverty around the world, there's different mindsets that keep them locked in, but they're very similar. When a problem is suggested to you in your life, however it's suggested, okay, pay attention very closely to where your mind goes right off the bat. Does it go to this? It's no big deal. We got this. Does it go to worry, doubt, and fear? Does it go to anxiety? Does it go to panic? Where does your mind go? Now, I'll tell you the secret about changing that part. It has to do with your belief in yourself to fix the problem. Most people don't have a deep belief in themselves to fix the problem. And I'm talking about fix the problem. I'm not talking about shuffling life around the way we did it when we worked for somebody else in order to span that time and space in order to get the paycheck. I was a master at doing that. I could figure out how to float a check for weeks and run on the middle of that thing. Like, you come up with all different kinds of creative ways when, you're desperate, but you're not getting out. You're just managing while you're in the thing. And then it's like, whoo, we got lucky. God blessed us on this one, whatever it is that you say to yourself. But it comes down to whether you think you can or you can't. That's the very first issue. Here's what happened. It's like, bam, you got hit. So you didn't see it coming. A problem happened. And your mind, instead of thinking, your mind reacted. And you went into the old pattern too quickly. And when you got in the old pattern, it started to run immediately. And you didn't catch it. So now you're further down the line in the pattern. And your mind creates obstacle after obstacle after obstacle on top of the problem. So when something shows up, you got to go stop. I do not have to react to this problem. and back yourself up from it. Get some distance from it and ask yourself, what is this? What is this that has just entered my life? And what do I want to turn it into? Not how do I have to react? Never forget the story that I told you about. Basically, you live in a free country. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. You don't have to do shit. And you should take that attitude, by the way. You don't have to do anything. You're a damn adult. Now, you may have a consequence to that, but that's fine. You can pay that consequence because you're an adult. But you don't have to do anything because your sovereignty, your freedom is about I get to choose. It might be dark, but I fucking get to choose, and you're not taking that from me. So you got to double down on that for yourself. It doesn't matter what the result of the problem is. That's secondary. But once you take that on, the next thing is I'm going to own this thing. I'm going to decide what it becomes, not them, not the bill collector, not the tax collector, not the government, not the hospital or the doctor or the dentist or anybody else. I'm going to decide what this becomes in my life, not them. You get bad news from the doctor, you're going to decide what it becomes, not the doctor, not what everybody else thinks. So the very beginning of this is you're taking ownership for your position in life as a person, as an individual, as a creative child of God. You have all of that power. So you recenter yourself with that. And then you go, I'm going to decide what we're going to do. It's not going to decide what I do. I'm going to decide what we're going to do. Or you and your family or your team or whatever. But you as the leader, I'm deciding what we're doing. We're not going to be led around by the nose by this problem, this issue, these people. It doesn't matter what it is. What's my outcome? What do you want your outcome to be? It doesn't have to be what anybody else or anything suggests. And when it comes to money, your first position is I have all the wealth of the universe. That's God's promise to you. That's reality. You have it as much as anybody else. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's there, it's yours in the storehouse of the universe. Prove me wrong. The money is in the same place for me as it is for you, as it is for the billionaires. It doesn't matter who it is. It's in the hands of other people because money's a tool and it's meant to be circulated. It's doing its job. It's God-gifted, intended job. It was that human beings manipulated it. So if that's the truth, then bringing money into my life is just another skill like learning to cook potatoes. It's not that difficult. You learn how to sell. And then you can decide what you sell, how much you sell for. You master that skill set. Now, here's the thing. Sean has mastered that skill set. I've known Sean a long time. He's mastered that skill set. What he hasn't mastered is the initial phase of the problem that he's bigger than the problem. Like a lot of people, when the problem comes in, he puts himself beneath the problem. When we do that, it's very important to understand that you will create something that you think is true that's not. So basically, you're going to create a lie. So the starting place, if you have a money problem or anything that requires money, is we have all the money that we need. That's the starting place. There is no other place for you to start. Now, given that you have all the money that you need, now you can sit down and think to yourself, how do I want to solve this problem? Now, if that makes you nervous, if that's not making you feel any better, if you're uncertain about the sales, then you need to do something about your sales ability because that's the skill that solves this. There is no other skill. There's no team and marketing and management and any, culture. None of that stuff solves that problem. Either you got to be a rock star salesperson or you better have people hired on your company that are. Preferably it's you first, because then no matter what it is, it's like, okay, do you know if I know how to sell, okay, now everything's wide open because I can create something I want to sell that I haven't created yet. I could sell something for somebody else. I could sell what I have. I could sell more. I could sell at higher prices. I have the world's at my doorstep if I know how to sell. If I don't know how to sell, it's just like being in hell because now I've got the problem. And while the idea that there's all the money in the universe that's around me all the time sounds nice, I yet have figured out how to bring it from the universe into my hand because for whatever reason, I've avoided mastering that skill set. So then you do have an issue because you're going to have to rely on basically on somebody else or less than what you want to solve the problem because you haven't stepped into the tenets of skill mastery required to be an independent adult. But the one that turns the lock that lets you go anywhere, increase anything, is the sales one. So we must be very, very aware. We want to make sure that we understand, number one, I have the ability. That comes before anything. The money is here. It's in my universal bank. There's nothing difficult about that at all. So there's nothing to panic about. I don't think, how are we going to get the money? I think, how do I want to get the money? Because if I can sell, I have options. If I can't sell, I have a lot less options. So the idea today is this: when something comes in, first and foremost, don't let it grab you by the neck. Say, whoa, 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 back up. I don't care how big it is, how loud it is, how much it costs, what it's threatening you with. Don't ever lower your position as the leader that you are under anything in your life. And it doesn't matter whether you know how to deal with it or not. Leaders deal with things every day that they don't know how to deal with, but they approach it from a leadership position, which is, I will figure this out. It's not going to control me. And then you do the thing that most people never do, which is you walk the steps through the control of your own mind. Don't tell yourself a lie. You can even sit down and ask yourself, is there, like, let's say you're not feeling good about something that shows up. Is there anything about this that I'm telling myself that's not true? Well, we said we don't know where we get the money. I don't need to know where I'm going to get the money. That's not my job. That's God's job. My job is to make a decision that we're going to get it. We don't have the money. Nope. Yes, we do. The money's here. It doesn't matter how much this is, the money's here. So when you start from those two positions, you've got the problem licked. Everything that you need is here, and you don't need to figure out how to do it. You make the decision of how it's going to happen, like the way that you want it to happen, and let God work out the details. And you have the skill set, just like going to the store and getting a gallon of milk. You pick up the phone, you make a sale, and you say, that's done. That was easy. So really give this some thought today. Listen to this over and over and over again.